Got at her bachelorette party, so I vanished quietly before the wedding and what? Hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons, with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. My got gang beaten at her bachelorette party, so I quietly disappeared before our wedding. What happened next left everyone stunned. I'm Tom, a 32-year-old man, and I was supposed to marry my 29 last weekend. We've been together for 3 years, dating for 5, and I honestly believed she was the one. We lived together most of that time, and our relationship was rock solid, or so I thought. Took a trip to Miami with 7 friends 2 weekends before our wedding, and I wasn't worried at all. We trusted each other completely. I figured they'd have some drinks, hit the clubs, maybe see a stripper or two, typical bachelorette stuff. I even dropped her off at the airport, kissed her goodbye, and told her to have fun. During her trip, I hung out with my buddies, finalized wedding plans, and picked up my tuxedo. Everything felt normal. She texted me throughout the weekend, saying how much fun she was having, how she missed me, usual stuff. She came back Sunday night looking tired but happy, saying they had a blast and she was glad to be home. Then on Wednesday night, just 3 days before the wedding, I got a text from an unknown number. It read, "You should see what you did at her bachelorette party. She's not who you think she is." Attached was a video. At first, I almost deleted it, thinking it was spam, but something made me open it. What I saw shattered me. It was with 2 guys in what looked like a hotel room, and they were doing things to her. She wasn't drunk or incoherent. She was fully participating, encouraging them. At one point, she looked at the camera, smiled, and said, "What happens in Miami stays in Miami, right?" Then laughed. I watched the entire thing, 3 minutes and 42 seconds of pure devastation. That video ended my relationship and any hopes I had for our future together. I felt physically sick. I didn't confront her right away. I needed time to process. That night I stayed in the spare bedroom, claiming I didn't feel well. The next day, while she was at her final dress fitting, I called my best man, Tony, and showed him the video. His face was just as shocked as mine. I needed someone else's perspective to confirm what I was seeing. He asked, "What are you going to do?" I told him, "I'm not getting married." Thursday, I packed essential things while was out with her mom. I left her a note that simply said, "I know what happened in Miami. The wedding is off." I left my key and her engagement ring on top of the note. Then I moved into Tony's place and turned off my phone. I couldn't deal with the inevitable storm of drama. By Saturday morning, what should have been our wedding day, I turned my phone back on to find 47 missed calls and over 60 texts from her family and some mutual friends. Her messages ranged from confusion, "Where are you?" to panic, "Please call me," to full-blown confession, "I made a terrible mistake. Please let me explain." Her parents also called, first angry that I abandoned their daughter, then confused once they learned the truth. Apparently, finally told them after I stopped responding. I shot out a mass text to our invited guests saying, "The wedding has been canceled. Sorry for the inconvenience." I also sent a message to, "There's nothing to discuss. It's over." It's been a week now. I've moved into my own apartment and started the process of separating our lives. I blocked on all platforms, but she keeps finding ways to contact me. She claims it was a stupid drunk mistake, that it didn't mean anything, that she was caught up in the moment and peer pressure from her friends. But I saw the video myself. She wasn't that drunk. She knew exactly what she was doing. Her cousin, who wasn't at the bachelorette party, reached out yesterday. She told me is a wreck, hardly eats and cries all the time. She begged me to talk to, but I said no. Maybe I should confronted her face to face instead of leaving, I don't know. But I couldn't bear to look at her knowing what she did. The thought of standing at the altar, speaking vows about trust and fidelity when I knew she'd already broken them, I just couldn't do it. Some say I was too harsh leaving like that, but honestly, how do you come back from something like this? How could I ever trust her again? The pain, the humiliation, it's overwhelming. I'm just taking it day by day, not sure what's next. There's no going back. Update 1 or 2 weeks later. Thanks to everyone for the support and advice. It's helped more than I can say. Something I found out who sent me the video. It was the boyfriend of one of Julia's. Excuse me, guys. Apparently he'd been bragging about it and his girlfriend found the video on his phone. She was furious and showed it to me anonymously. Honestly, I'm grateful she did. It spared me from trusting her anymore. Is still trying to reach me. She showed up at my new place, crying and begging for a chance to explain. I let her in mainly because I was tired of her causing scenes outside my door. Her explanation was exactly what I expected. I was drunk. It was just physical. It didn't mean anything. I love you. It was a mistake. Same. Old cheaters go to excuses. But what really stuck out was the truth unraveling, how all this was planned. According to, they had all gone out to a club and her friends encouraged her to have one last fling. She admitted the men weren't strangers. They'd met the night before and hung out all weekend. She swore it was just that one incident, but then she broke down, saying she'd made out with one of them the night before she left. The more she talked, the clearer it became. It wasn't just a drunken slip-up. There was flirting, planning, and repeat offenses over several days. To make it worse, some of her bridesmaids, not just friends but women supposed to stand beside us, encouraged it and even filmed the whole thing. When I pointed out how wrong that was, she got defensive, saying, "It's normal to have a final fling before marriage. Lots of people do it." That's when I lost it completely. I told her, normal. Betraying someone you claim to love is normal. Participating in a threesome with two guys on camera a week before our wedding, how's that normal? She cried even harder, saying I was being cruel. She said, if you really loved me, you wouldn't have fed two guys at your bachelorette party. She left after saying, you'll regret throwing everything away over one mistake, which didn't sound remorseful, just threatening. She now claims I was controlling and emotionally abusive, completely false. She's playing the victim, saying I abandoned her without giving her a chance to explain, and that I'm punishing her for one mistake. Some mutual friends believe her. On the financial side, things are a mess. We're fighting over wedding costs. Her parents paid most deposits, but many bills had final payments due just before the wedding, paid from our joint account. Now she's demanding I pay her back half since I canceled, but I refused. Why should I pay for a wedding she cheated on? I've talked to a lawyer who says I'm in the clear legally since we weren't married yet, but it's still complicated. The social fallout been just as bad. Bridesmaids continue a smear campaign, painting me as a monster who ditched his because of a drunken kiss. They omit the part about the threesome, of course, and when confronted, they claim I'm shamming her. Some friends believe her version, others say I should forgive and forget. It's maddening. Her cousin, the one who first contacted me, posted online how heartbroken is, how I threw away a beautiful relationship over a single mistake. But the mistake, making out on camera with two guys, is way bigger than they're letting on. I'm the bad guy for staying true to my standards. Meanwhile, I've been focusing on healing. I started therapy, began working out, and reconnected with old friends I drifted away from. I've even started dating casually, though I'm in no rush. It's too soon. The biggest worry now is the pregnancy. If the child's mine, my life will change dramatically. If not, I'll breathe easier but still feel a strange guilt for the child's sake. I'm awaiting paternity test results with mixed feelings. Update: 4 to 6 months later, the results are in. The baby isn't mine. I'm no surprised, but hearing it still hit hard, relief mostly, but also a strange sense of loss for the future I'd imagined. I'd already begun mentally preparing for fatherhood, even with doubts. Julia, well, was crushed. She broke down entirely when she learned. In tears, she admitted she'd hoped the baby was mine, that maybe it could bring us back. She confessed she suspected one of the Miami guys was the father but convinced herself it was mine because the alternative was too painful. It almost made me feel sorry for her, almost. Then I remembered all the lies, manipulation, and harassment, the guilt-tripping she and her family did to get me to take responsibility for a child who isn't mine. They called me a deadbeat, a coward. When I confronted her about confession, she initially it but then broke down, admitting she'd cheated on me at least 3 times, the first about 2 years ago with a coworker after a company party. She said it was just a drunken mistake, nothing serious. But she didn't tell me because she didn't want to hurt me. She hesitated, then admitted there was another incident about a year into our relationship, a second mistake she kept hidden. So a woman I loved and trusted had cheated on me at least 3 times, possibly more. She said if she'd told me earlier, maybe we could have worked through it. But the repeated deception, right before the wedding, destroyed any chance for reconciliation. No trust remained. She also told me she contacted both Miami guys once she found out she was pregnant. One blocked her immediately, the other, who's married now, wants nothing to do with the child. His wife is divorcing him after finding out. She reached me somehow and we had a long talk about betrayal, family, and the mess we're both in. His family suffered many consequences. Her father showed up at my office, causing a scene demanding I take responsibility for wedding costs. The security had to escort him out. My lawyer said I was in the right, but it was humiliating. We had about $31 in our joint account, mostly for wedding, honeymoon, and a house down payment. I only took half when I left since I'd contributed more. She now claims I stole from her, which isn't true. The social scenes got messier, her bridesmaids outreach and smear stories, leaving out the key detail of her on-camera affair. Some people are finally realizing she's lying. A few, including her cousin, apologized to me after hearing the full truth, admitted she filmed the video, blamed herself, and revealed there was a lot of cocaine involved, something Julia never mentioned. Also confirmed this wasn't her first cheating incident, citing a previous one about 2 years ago with that her friends helped cover up. That was a shock but also a relief, knowing I hadn't overreacted, and that her pattern of deception made my decision to end it clear. Meanwhile, I'm doing better. Therapy is helping. I took a long trip to Colorado alone, and I'm spending more time on myself, working out, catching up with friends, and even dadding a little. Nothing serious yet, but I'm in a good place. Now the big concern, if the baby is mine or not. I'm preparing for the paternity test and focusing on my healing. When the results came in 2 weeks ago, the baby turned out not to be mine. I felt relief, sure, but also a strange sense of loss. I'd mentally prepared for fatherhood, and now that door's closed. Sorry, Julia reacted terribly. She broke down again, saying she'd hoped the baby was mine because she thought it might bring us back, confessing she suspected one of the Miami guys after all. She said she'd hoped the child would make us rekindle, but I told her this is over, regardless of the test. She's been trying to guilt me again, claiming I abandoned her before the child was even born. Her family's now back to supporting her, even after all her lies and her career suffers. She's barely hanging on mentally. As for me, I've moved forward. I'm happier, more confident, got a new job and a better apartment. I've reconnected with old friends and started to date casually. I've been traveling extensively, spent a month in Argentina working remotely, went to Japan and Portugal. Life is good. Every day is a step away from that dark chapter. So that's my story. Thanks to everyone who listened and supported. If you're going through something similar, hold on, things do get better. Pain fades, and sometimes the worst betrayals open the door to new beginnings. Thanks for sticking with me until the end. Final update: 1 year later. Honestly, I didn't plan to post again, but recent events felt like closing the chapter properly. Life been really good. I got a significant raise, traveled more, Japan, Portugal, Argentina. It's been eye-opening and healing. I met Melissa and things got serious faster than I expected, but she's everything Julia wasn't: honest, direct, supportive. We've been together 8 months now and I've never felt more secure. I've avoided, for months, only hearing occasional updates through friends. I know she has a son, who's now around 2, and she's struggling with single motherhood. Her family is helping her. The Miami guy who was involved took a paternity test, confirmed he's the father, and is paying minimal child support, wants nothing to do with her or the kid. Then last week I ran into unexpectedly downtown. She looked completely different, thinner, tired, hair short, totally beaten down by life. She saw me and we just stared briefly. She asked if we could talk. Against my instincts, I agreed. She looked at me and said, "I'm sorry, not just for what I did, but for how I handled everything afterward. You deserve better." Somehow, her apology felt genuine, no excuses, no blaming alcohol or friends. She admitted she's still facing judgment, has lost friends, and her career's suffered. She told me her parents are moving closer to help with the baby, and she's in therapy trying to understand why she sabotaged her happiness. The worst, she said, was knowing she hurt someone who truly loved her. I didn't say much. I just told her I appreciated her apology and wished her well. As I got up to leave, she asked, "Are you happy?" I thought about Melissa, my job, my travels, my new life. "Yes, I am." She nodded, gave me a sad smile, and said, "Good. You deserve to be." That brief conversation gave me more peace than months of therapy. Not because I still held resentment, but because I saw her accept her actions and their consequences. Walking away from that coffee shop, I finally felt the last weight lift. No more anger, no resentment, just calm acceptance that sometimes people make choices that change everything, and all we can do is adapt and move forward. A couple nights ago, I was sitting on a balcony watching the sunset with Melissa and realized something. I'm grateful for everything. Not because Julia deserved the fallout or because I take pleasure in her suffering. Rather, because those painful lessons finally freed me. That betrayal, while terrible, opened the door to genuine happiness I never thought I'd find. So that's it, my story for now. To those still healing, hang in there. Pain lessens over time, and what waits on the other side can be more beautiful than what you lost. Life does go on. Sometimes it gets better in ways that seem impossible. Thanks for sticking with me. If you liked this story, please like, share, and subscribe. Take care.